Here we are together again on the radio. Let me say before I read you this story, this is not legal. I do not support it. I believe that somebody who commits this crime should be punished to the fullest extent of the law. I'm saying that despite the fact that I know that many of you out there are not listening to a word I'm saying, and that later on this hour you're going to yell at me. And you're going to accuse me of supporting what this person did. I don't. I don't, and I won't. Don't confuse what I'm about to say with my feelings about committing this crime. This is a crime. It should be a crime. And the person who did it should be severely punished. Are you hearing me? The person who did this should be severely punished. Now, having said that, let me read you this story from the Associated Press. Dateline, Colville, Washington. An 18-year-old pleaded guilty to trying to hire a hitman to kill his ex-girlfriend's nearly full-term fetus, and was sentenced to more than 6 years in prison. Charles D. Young received 76.5 months in prison after pleading guilty to first-degree solicitation to commit manslaughter. State law allows for such a count when a viable fetus is the intended target. Prosecutors allege Young, then 17, offered an undercover officer posing as a hitman $3,250 last October to injure his estranged 17-year-old girlfriend so badly that her fetus would die. Young was arrested after a classmate learned of his plan and went to police, who arranged to have Young and the undercover officer meet, according to prosecutor John Troberg. Young told the officer in a recorded conversation that he didn't care whether his former girlfriend survived the attack, Troberg said. So they had all the evidence on tape. Young of Suncrest, Washington, northwest of Spokane, apologized to the girl and her family at sentencing, Troberg said. Young, who learned of the pregnancy after breaking up with the girl, initially expressed interest in raising their child, but later told his ex-girlfriend he wanted nothing to do with the baby, the prosecutor said. Young's attorney, Bevan Maxey, said his client is an intelligent young man who got bad advice. Now, let me tell you what I think about this. I first of all told you that the punishment is just. Anyone who tries to injure another individual should do hard time. And there's just no question in my mind about that. But having said that, ladies, think hard. This is the kind of thing you open yourself up to when you allow yourself to get knocked up and you tell a man or a boy that he has no choice, you're having the baby, and that's that. Many of you think because you've got the right to choose that there is no risk, no danger, nothing to worry about by making that choice. Right here is one of the risks you take. Right here, right now. When you tell a man, I'm having the baby and that's that, and there's nothing you can do, and you've got to assume the responsibility of being a father because when you do that, granted, women get away with that most of the time. They do it, and that's that. And it is your right to do that. But depending on who you are dating, this is potentially dangerous. You could end up like this chick. You could end up being nailed by a hitman or threatened or somehow physically injured, even killed. We've had stories like that. So while I believe that hiring a hitman to injure a woman so badly that her fetus will die should be punished to the fullest extent of the law, I also believe that women should be aware that they shouldn't be too confident and shouldn't feel too comfortable at the idea of telling a guy that you're having the baby and that's that. This could happen to you. Couldn't it?
Tom Leykis.
Come on.
1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
How are you today?
Do you care?
Yes, I do, because I don't want you to rip me a new one because I don't agree with you on what you say.
The Tom Leykis Show.
The Tom Leykis Show from Hollywood at 1-800-5800-TOM. We're talking about a teenager, 18 years old, of Suncrest, Washington, near Spokane, who hired a hitman to kill his ex-girlfriend's nearly full-term fetus. He was sentenced to more than 6 years in prison.
Okay.
I mean, what I hope is happening is that guys are less likely to get tied down into a relationship, less likely to knock up their girlfriend, less likely to let their girlfriend move in with them.
Yeah.
Because those are the things I preach. And using condoms. And how many guys don't use condoms at all?
I know. I know. I mean, I just was looking at it in perspective if I gave somebody advice, or if I, for example, wrote a book, you know, like me writing a book and a lot of people reading it that I don't know is the same thing as you having a talk show and talking on the air and you don't know who's listening to you. It's the same scenario.
Oh, the point is,
if I heard that somebody did something stupid, I would feel responsible.
I have been doing this since I was, well, put it this way, doing talk radio since I was 22. I've been doing radio since I was 14. You know, that's one of the risks you take when you go on the air.
Yeah.
You know, like one day I was watching TV. This is a true story. Some guy got into an argument, I think it was with his girlfriend, and he kidnapped her. And it was one of these things where I guess he was in a car chase with the police, and they showed him, like from the helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
And there were news photographers, and the guy was wearing a Flash Friday T-shirt. I don't know if you remember this, but it's a few years back.
Okay.
Is it my fault that he kidnapped his girlfriend?
No, that's not. I know where you're coming from.
Every day I come on the air, people can misinterpret what I say. As it is, I tell you regularly, people don't use radio the way they use other media. And let me tell you what that means. When you go to a movie theater, you buy your popcorn, you find your seat, you sit down in a darkened room, and you stare forward for 2.5 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
When people listen to the radio, they get in the car, their friends also get in the car, the people in the carpool or their buddies, whatever. They turn the radio on, it's on in the background, they're talking, they're popping open sodas or whatever they're opening, beers, whatever. They're eating. They're talking on the phone.
I know, and there's a lot of good things that you say, though, that have helped me and people that I know. So, I mean, it's 50-50, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just depends who's hearing it and who takes it the way it is. But, Tom, I have to tell you, like, my ride home is much better now that I've been listening to you for a year now, and I love your show. I really, really do. So, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate the call. Jason on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, are you there, Tom?
No, I left the room.
Tom, my name's Jason. First-time caller. I've been listening to the show for a couple weeks, and I really enjoy it. I'm calling in regards to your comment about that women should be aware of the possible, repercussions of keeping a child, even when the father, thinks that it shouldn't be that way. I'm really surprised. I feel like I'm listening to some conservative pro-life rhetoric derived from...
Oh, quite the contrary, because I am pro-abortion.
Well, I'm just really surprised. It's really shocking to me that it should be in a woman's mind that, you know, if you keep this child and the father doesn't want to, that you may have to deal with...
So how does that make... What makes that sound like a pro-life commentary?
What's that?
What makes that sound like a pro-life commentary?
Because you're adding a possible bad situation that could come of actually having a kid. Is that...
What does that have to do with being pro-life?
What's that?
What does that have to do with being pro-life or anti-abortion?
Well, I feel that, you know, if, you know, people want to, you know, if a conservative commercial or something like that was trying to promote you to not have a kid, you know, the reason being is that your boyfriend might go ahead and beat you up and try and kill that kid if you're not willing to.
What does that have to do with being anti-abortion? That's like being pro-abortion, not anti-abortion.
Well, I suppose my point being is that it seems like an isolated incident is supporting your point. You know, that this
it is one of the possibilities when you arrogantly tell your boyfriend or your husband, we're having this baby and that's that. Sounds like your phone's crapping out there, Junior. This is Chuck on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, this is Chuck.
I know, I just said that.
All I want to say is that when it comes to justice and the 18-year-old with the girl, whatever happened to balance, you know, Lady Liberty blindfolded with a scale in her arms, if fetuses aren't declared human beings and that's what makes abortion legal, how can he be prosecuted for manslaughter when it's not legally a person yet? Are we having a double standard in our country?
The manslaughter in this case, I think, was because he said he didn't care if the girlfriend died.
Okay, I understand that. And he should be prosecuted for the attack on the girl. And if he was having the girl knocked off or, you know, killed, he's been prosecuted for that. But they shouldn't be prosecuting for the unborn fetus for manslaughter if that's what the aim was. For instance, like...
I agree with what you say. But in this case, they have a tape of the guy saying, and I'm reading right from the story, he said he didn't care whether his former girlfriend survived the attack.
Okay, if he had said, I don't want my girlfriend to die, I do not want you to kill my girlfriend,
then I want
you to kill the unborn fetus, would he be prosecuted for manslaughter or for assault?
That's a good question, and I'm not an attorney.
Okay, well, I'm just saying that I feel that our country has lost its logic, and we've created all these double standards, and it's no longer blind Lady Liberty. She's seeing everything and just using emotion for everything. It's because the woman wanted the fetus to be born that, you know, makes it that much more horrendous. Yet, if she wants it to die, it's not that bad. You know, it's terrible, but we need to either decide that a fetus, an unborn child, is a person or not, and then we need to stick to that, to the law. And everyone doesn't want to, you know, go with that. It's ridiculous.
All right. Thank you. Not sure I completely understand, but I thank you anyway. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Sheena on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Isn't it my turn finally?
No. Hang on there. Robert, you're on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
How you doing, Tom?
Great.
Well, you know, if he's saying that he doesn't care if his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, whatever she was, gets killed in that, but he's also telling that undercover person that he wants that fetus dead, I think that should be considered double manslaughter, especially even if it went down, he got caught, it should have been considered double manslaughter because he said he didn't care if his ex-girlfriend died or not. You know, I don't understand that Chuck guy is like, you know, that's not considered. It is because, you know, he said he didn't care if she died. And if the baby died, you know, that's...
Well, I think that's a case-by-case basis. I think it should have to do with whether that fetus could survive outside the womb.
Mm-hmm.
Because what if somebody is 6 weeks pregnant, 4 weeks pregnant? Should that be a double manslaughter, a double homicide?
Well, technically, because, you know, I broke a rule, the Tom Leykis rules, that I got my ex-girlfriend pregnant. And when I went to her doctor's appointments and stuff, they considered, I think, 15 weeks a full, you know, alive fetus. And I think after 15 weeks, they will consider it a human.
In my view, the number of weeks isn't important. The question is, would the fetus have been able to survive outside the mother? That's the question. So. To me, that's the question.
I wouldn't think so.
Well, I think 7.5 months pregnant, probably it could have. But 6 weeks, probably not. 15 weeks, probably not. But that's not even the point. The point is, when women tell the guy, hey, I'm having the baby, tough luck, I don't think a lot of women think about the possibility that somebody would go crazy and do something like this.
Yeah, when I found out she was pregnant, I went insane. But I'm not going to go say, hey, kill the fetus. I don't want to take care of it. I'm not going to play the father figure. You know, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, well, I've done it 4 times. I've been responsible for 4 abortions, and it's the best thing I ever did for myself.
Yeah, I understand that, Tom. I understand that.
I mean, all 4 women understood, A, that I didn't want to be a parent, B, that I didn't want them to be a parent with me, and C, that they did not have to be with me. That if they wanted to be parents, they should move on. So they understood, and when they got pregnant, I've honored them on the air many times. I've actually had shows devoted to honoring these women. They kept their commitment, and they had the abortions, and it's fantastic.
Maybe that's what I should have done.
That's right.
Thanks for taking my call, Tom. I appreciate it. Can you take me out Compton style?
Compton style. Of course I can. Yes. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Let's say hello here to Lorena on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hey there, Tom. I hope you're well.
I am.
I'm a long-time listener of yours.
Thank you.
And this topic, it struck a chord with me because I don't understand how any woman would want to have a child that somebody else doesn't want to have. Ultimately, you're the one who's pretty much stuck raising that child their whole life, whether you get alimony or child support or whatever they get. It's just absolutely ridiculous to me. And actually, I've been dating somebody, and I'm currently pregnant, and I know he wouldn't want to have a child, nor do I. And even if I did, I can't imagine wanting to, but I've elected to have an abortion. But I'm not even going to tell him about it or worry him about it because I know he wouldn't want to. And I can't see how anybody, you know, even after talking to a guy and he says that he doesn't want to have a child, I just can't see how anybody would do it. And
they do it all the time.
I'm sorry?
They do it all the time.
Oh, it's just it's unacceptable. I mean, I don't agree with using abortion as a form of birth control, and this was completely irresponsible of us, and it's not what I do. But it happened. It's the first time it's ever happened, and you have to look at the big picture. Why would you want to bring an unwanted child into this world? And I greatly appreciate the message that you send out to these people, to guys, you know. Gosh, bag it, double bag it if you have to, but don't go knock anybody up because most won't be that lucky, and it can be some psycho chick who is just out for your money, or worse, is going to just...
and by the way, I think more often than not, women are not just trying for the money. They're trying to hold a guy into a relationship that he doesn't want to be in.
Exactly, and even worse, when you really think about it, why would you ever want to be with somebody who doesn't want to be with you, and to be so wicked and try to trap them like that? And it happens so often. And, I mean, obviously it's a product of their dysfunction and how they were raised. And then guess what? They're going to raise another dysfunctional child like that after they have it with you. So, I mean, I greatly appreciate your message, and I just wanted to share that. And if there are women who are listening, oh, gosh, you know, I'm pro-abortion. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, you and me both.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, Tom.
Thank you.
Can you take me out with a bong hit?
Of course I can. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Mike. Hello.
How you doing?
Great.
Hey, I'm very honored to be on your show.
As well you should be.
Yeah, I've been a listener for a little over a year now, and been trying to get on your show, but I finally did it. Funny thing is, driving home, My ex-wife works for Bevan Maxey, which is the attorney for that.
That's correct, so, yes. I'm looking at that right here.
Yeah, so immediately I called her up and talked to her and to find out what was going on, because I've never even heard of this story even happening. And so she told me that also Montel Williams also called today also to put both them on the show together.
Who?
Montel Williams.
To put who on the show?
The kid and the girl that was...
the girl he tried to put the hit on, you mean? So the former boyfriend and girlfriend, in other words.
Yeah, they're trying to put both them on the show of Montel Williams.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, he's been convicted. Isn't he in prison by now? Has he started his sentence yet?
Yes, he's in prison now. He started his sentence.
So how would they be on Montel Williams if he's in prison?
He'll be on a screen, and she'll be there with her family.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm kind of in the same thing. I'm kind of back and forth on this subject because I believe that some kids should. Some people do not deserve to have kids.
What do you mean they deserve? Wait. Stop. What do you mean they deserve to have kids?
But they don't deserve to have kids. I think if you go and you get somebody pregnant, it should be a mutual thing. Are you going to keep
I think it should be.
And why should you bring, if your life is already messed up, why do you want to bring somebody else in to the same life and mess their life up also?
Because people whose lives are messed up don't acknowledge that their lives are messed up, or they don't know that their lives are messed up. They don't know until it's too late.
Tom. 1-800-5800-TOM. Tom.
You want to hear my favorite lunch?
What's that?
It's a can of tuna fish with a pickle and a couple of saltines. Yeah.
When I hear about tuna fish or the pickle, I get other images.
The Tom Leykis Show.
From Hollywood, it's the Tom Leykis Show. A listener named Lisa writes in and says the following. Tom, I currently work and have worked at an abortion/women's clinic in Phoenix. I have firsthand and frequently seen crazy women and girls attempt to lie, manipulate, and just plain F with guys. I would like to offer some advice to your boys as I have a son myself. 1. Boys, pay attention to this. If a girl is claiming pregnancy, demand a proof of pregnancy. Most clinics like ours will run a free pregnancy test and give written proof to the patient. As we know, they will often lie about it. We have had girls ask for one when the test was negative. Sneaky, huh? How do you like that? These girls ask for proof of pregnancy even when they're not pregnant. 2, if you are paying for an abortion but will not be going to the clinic with her, go to the facility in advance and pay. Verify that if the abortion is not done for some reason, or she changes her mind, that you will only you will receive the refund. Leave your contact number. This is our clinic's policy. We have had girls try to ask for a refund of dollars and want to leave once their ride has left, and request proof from her if she or the insurance pays. 3, if getting the morning after pill, take her to a clinic like ours that watches her swallowing the pills in our office. We have girls come in with guys. He waits in the lobby, and then she waits to take the pills home. And yes, most likely flush the pills at home. 4, trust no one. They will say they're on the pill, that they're sterile or whatever. Wear a condom. And if for some reason it breaks and all else fails and she ends up pregnant, hopefully she'll be making an appointment at my office. Ha ha. Be careful. I have seen firsthand that this is one of the #1 ways they'll try and trap you. Happy to offer any other info and advice. Have a great day. Keep up the good work, Tom. My 17-year-old boy is a student of yours. That from Lisa. By the way, if you'd like to send an email like Lisa, we read it while we're here. Just write to Tom at blowmeuptom.com. You got that? Tom at blowmeuptom.com. Continuing with your telephone calls. Steve, hello.
How you doing, Tom?
Great.
Are you trying to... No, you're not trying to tell me this. But are we supposed to believe that these guys don't know that these women are psychotic while they're dating them, and then just all of a sudden they get pregnant and turn psychotic?
No, you're not supposed to believe that. I do believe that many guys, when they are drunk on their own personal testosterone and they need to get laid, they ignore many of the warning signs. Just like women, when they want to get into a relationship, ignore many of the red flags of guys who are abusive.
I understand that. But why does it... I mean, this guy should be strung up by his nuts.
Well, he's been punished.
I don't know. It just seems like we're not, taking responsibility, and then...
he's been sentenced to over 6 years in prison. Nobody was injured. Nobody was killed. You can't do much more than that.
Well, it's just a sad thing when abortion is the only option, other than responsibility or adoption.
Well, what does this story have to do with abortion?
Well, that's where the story is going.
Why do you say that?
Well, she wasn't going to get an abortion, right?
Well, it doesn't say that.
Well,
we're assuming it, and I think that's probably the case.
Obviously, that's the case. If she was going to get an abortion, obviously there would have been no reason for the attack, you would think.
That's my opinion, but I don't have any proof of it, and I don't want to make a claim if I can't prove it.
I don't know. I've just been listening to this for about 45 minutes, and it just seems like not everybody, but it just seems like this, oh, woe is me, this psycho woman was going to have his baby when he didn't want it. Oh, boo-hoo.
Well, again, I do think women should be aware. When you tell a man you're having the baby, no matter what he says, there is a risk. This is an example.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there should be some type of clause. I don't know how you do it as far as child support and all that stuff goes. Obviously, there are very manipulative women out there that do this stuff for money and all that kind of crap. But, if you're going to start putting that thing places where it shouldn't be going, we've all been there. Take responsibility.
I believe if we had a law that mandated DNA testing for every live birth in America, that said you can't garnish a man's wages without a DNA test, you'd have a lot less pregnancies and a lot less unwanted births.
Probably not a bad idea.
One of the reasons you have so many of these unwanted births is because women know they can say, I want this guy to be the father. And then they can just make these allegations and try to convince the guy that it's his. And they only have to succeed for a year or two in lying, and then after that, the guy is presumed to be the father, and that's the law, and that's it. So we have laws that encourage the birth of unwanted children.
Test, he's an idiot himself.
That's not the point. They should be mandated.
Well, a court would mandate it if there was some dispute.
No. Just like it is mandated that you have a driver's license before you drive a car, it should be mandated that a DNA test is present before somebody gets child support.
For all unwed pregnancies, you're saying?
All. No, wed or unwed. All pregnancies. First of all, the economy of scale. If there was a DNA test for every single birth, the cost of DNA testing would go down.
So what if a married couple refused the test?
Then the man would be responsible for paying child support, regardless of if he finds out later it's not his.
Well,
but I don't think you should be allowed to refuse it. I think it should be mandatory. Because then somebody can't get knocked up by one person and charge another person.
So you're saying if they're married, take the test, then if they get divorced,
the man is not responsible.
Sign me up.
Good idea, right?
I don't see why that would be a problem.
Well, it's a problem because the government makes a fortune getting money from guys who are not the father of their children.
So do lawyers.
Well, keep in mind that most politicians are lawyers.
That is a fact.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
You too. Steve called up here, was all pissed when he got on with Dino. Turns out he agrees with me. Amazing. This is Sean on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom, love the show. Great topic.
Thank you.
You're going to love this. This one girl that, she's about 22 years old. I started I knew she was an attention whore. I just wanted to bang her. So, a little bit into the relationship, she's telling me how much she wants kids and she wants to get married. I sat her down. I looked her straight in the face. I put my serious face on, and I told her, if we were ever to have an accident and a slip-up, and you were ever to get pregnant, and you had the kid without me behind it, and I would not be behind it, I told her that straight out. I said, this is what's going to happen. I'd never speak to you again. I'll have no involvement in that kid's life. You can go to court. Whatever paperwork the court sends me, I will send you a check. I will follow the letter of the law as much as the law goes, but you will have a bastard child. I will have no involvement in the kid's life or your life. I'm out.
I think it's a good idea because I let every woman know. Maybe it's the reason I don't have any unwanted children. I let every woman know.
Yeah, and now I have an appointment to make sure I'm not going to have any slip-ups.
Yeah, I mean, that's my deal. I always said I will not be there.
Well, I think if you could take me out with a Lacey Peterson and then blow me up, I think that would be great on this topic.
Well, it would certainly be tasteless.
Everett. Hey. Everett. Everett, miss you.
1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Jason, hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hey, Tom. How you doing? I love the show, man. You're really giving a lot of advice to guys out there, saving a lot of people a big headache.
Thank you.
You know, on that token, you're really lucky you were born. You're really lucky because you're saving so many
wait. You say, wait, stop. You say I'm lucky I wasn't born?
No. You're lucky you were born and your mom did not abort you. You see, because you were given that chance for life. And
yeah, but you know who else? You know who else was born? You know who else was born? Mrs. Hitler's child.
You know who else was born?
Mrs. Stalin's child. Mrs. Saddam Hussein's mom, her child was born. Just about everybody who's ever committed any atrocity. They were also born. You understand that, right?
Mothers. We can say Will Smith, for example. I believe I don't know, at least in the show, in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I mean, this is a lame example, but there are a lot of people. It does not matter your family background. You can make it if you have the will and the determination.
Well, Adolf Hitler was certainly very, very successful. He was very successful.
Sure.
You realize that if Mrs. Hitler, this is important, if Mrs. Hitler had an abortion, there'd be 10 million more people alive today.
Sure.
And their children.
Sure, and if a famous doctor didn't, their mother had an abortion, then we wouldn't have medical...
What I'm trying to tell you is it's pretty much a wash. Abortion is legal, and that's the way it is, and that's the way it's going to be, and that's that.
I'm not saying that it's not. I'm not being dumb. I'm just saying that if these women will have a kid, and you know, like the previous caller said, the man is going to pay the money. It's his fault. He needs to take responsibility. That child might become a really famous person or a very influential person.
Or it might become a mass murderer, too.
Possibly. They might also become just like you and be very influential.
Fortunately, depending on how you see it, fortunately, I have been behind 4 abortions, so there will be 4 children that will not be born to me.
That's fine.
By the way, I want you to know, in my office here,
manipulated these women.
In my office, all 4 of them are in mason jars right above my desk. I'm a very proud father. Our email address, tom@blowmeuptom.com.
The Tom Leykis Show.